It sounds like the plot of a movie. A U.S. man was able to hide behind a false identity, operating a sophisticated illegal drug website. The site operated much like eBay. It allowed users to buy and sell illegal drugs, guns, and even hire hitmen. The FBI spent 2 years trying to find the man behind the site. And as Mike Drolet reports, there's a Canadian connection to how they finally got him.
Who are you?
No one of consequence.
In the movie The Princess Bride, nobody had ever seen the dread pirate Roberts. He was more fiction than fact, a phantom. It was the perfect moniker for an online drug lord who was the mastermind of a billion-dollar website known as the Silk Road, considered the eBay of narcotics, guns, and hitmen.
The Silk Road was set up to be completely anonymous, hidden from law enforcement efforts.
After an intensive 2-year investigation, the FBI arrested Ross William Ulbricht, a San Francisco resident, in a public library. The alleged drug kingpin was living in a rented room for $1,000 a month. The website itself was a sophisticated endeavor that proved tough to crack. It used the online currency Bitcoins and operated in the so-called deep web, which makes tracing users virtually impossible.
Anything that you send to this through this internet is completely encrypted, and nobody knows that it's you who sent it.
The big break in this case came from Canada. Border inspectors took a closer look at a random package that came through addressed to someone in San Francisco. Turned out that package was filled with fake IDs. Those IDs all featured photos of Ulbricht. Now armed with a name, the FBI put their scattered clues together and found that Ulbricht had used his personal email when asking for tech help for the site.
That was kind of his fatal flaw. It was pretty ridiculous that you would put your real name out there if you're going to create this, become a criminal mastermind, but that's what he did.
He also allegedly hired a hitman to kill a White Rock, BC user who was blackmailing him. The FBI claimed Ulbricht sent a hitman he found on his own site $150,000 in bitcoins. Police in BC couldn't find any evidence of a crime. Silk Road has since been shut down, and the alleged digital drug lord, if convicted, is facing life in jail. Mike Drolet, Global News.
Welcome to the first episode of Bitcrimes, where we go in depth about crypto and the underworld. Today, we'll be talking about the Godfather of the darknet, the one and the only, Ross William Ulbricht, aka Dread Pirate Roberts. Other than Satoshi Nakamoto himself, there is no other person that has been more influential in the growth of Bitcoin than Ross. He is responsible for creating the first darknet market, Silk Road, the first of its kind. Silk Road allowed its users to be able to purchase almost anything. And when I say almost anything, I do mean that literally. From guns to drugs to even murder for hire. It was all available on the website. It's on this market that crypto, specifically Bitcoin, got its start. It's on this website that the world changed forever. So let's start from the top, so you can fully understand and have a better view of why Ross is where he is and why he did what he did. Ross grew up in Austin, Texas. He went to school at West Ridge Middle School and Westlake High School. He would eventually graduate in 2002 and go on to the University of Texas at Dallas on a full academic scholarship. When he graduated in 2006 with a bachelor's degree in physics, he then attended Pennsylvania State University, where he went on to get a master's degree in programming. It was during this time that he started to day trade as a job, and he picked up the ideology of libertarianism, a political philosophy and movement that upholds liberty as a core principle. Libertarians believe in small government and political freedom, emphasizing free association, freedom of choice, individualism, and skepticism of state power and authority. While day trading part-time, he also tried to start his own video gaming company, but it didn't have much luck. You can say this is the beginning of when Silk Road came to be. It hadn't become Silk Road just yet. He eventually linked up with one of his friends, Donnie Palmertree, to build an online used bookseller called Good Wagon Books. But when his friend Donnie decided to move back to Dallas, it left Ross to run Good Wagon Books alone. It was around this time that Ross began planning Silk Road. It was initially named Underground Brokers. In his personal diary, he outlined his idea for a website, where people could buy anything anonymously with no trail whatsoever that could lead back to them. Silk Road ran on Tor, a network which implements protocols that encrypt data and routes internet traffic through intermediary servers that anonymize IP addresses before reaching a final destination. By hosting this market as a Tor site, Ross could conceal its IP address. Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, was used for transactions on the site. While all Bitcoin transactions are recorded in a public log called the blockchain, users who avoid linking their identities to their online wallet can conduct transactions with considerable amounts of anonymity. Everything seemed to be going well for Ross. I mean, he had the website doing numbers every day. That was until an IRS agent working with the DEA busted him in the mid-2013. The DEA was able to catch Ross simply because Gary Alford realized that he had used the same name twice. When he first started Silk Road, he had the name Altoid, and he used the same name on another forum. This allowed them to be able to track his email address, and directly to him, they were led. Ross was arrested by the FBI while at the Glen Park branch of the San Francisco Public Library and accused of being the mastermind behind the Silk Road site. On August 21st, 2014, Ross was charged with money laundering, conspiracy to commit computer hacking, and conspiracy to traffic narcotics. He was ordered and held without bail. Before the trial, they tried to offer Ross a plea deal that would have put him in jail for 10 years, but he turned it down, deciding that he would rather fight the case in court. This would prove to be a fatal mistake on Ross's part, because on February the 4th, 2015, Ross was convicted on all counts after a jury trial and was sentenced to double life, plus 40 years without the possibility of parole. Federal prosecutors tried to even convict Ross of murder for hire. They said that he tried to kill more than one of his employees who were Silk Road moderators, but those charges never stuck. Ross appealed his conviction and sentence to the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit in January 2016. Ross built his appeal on the fact that prosecution illegally withheld evidence of DEA agents' malfeasance in the investigation of Silk Road, for which 2 agents were convicted. He also argued that his sentence was too harsh for someone who had not committed any kind of violent crime. Ross is still fighting for his freedom and hoping for a presidential pardon. He is currently housed at the United States Penitentiary, Florence High, USP Florence High, in Florence, Colorado. Many celebrities have come out to champion the reversal of Ross's sentence. Most notably, billionaire and founder of Tesla, Elon Musk, who has come out and said that his sentence was way too harsh. I'll let you, the viewers, debate whether Ross was wrong or whether you think he was right. But what is not up for debate is his impact on the world. Bitcrimes.